And now, The Last Word with Rick Casey.
Many viewers may be aware of a controversy over a recent commentary I prepared that didn't run. I'm pleased to say the issue has been resolved very much to my satisfaction and that of KLRN's leadership. KLRN President Arthur Emerson has publicly confirmed that The Last Word will continue to be a free speech zone and will clearly be labeled as commentary to signify that. I want to thank Arthur, and I also want to thank all of you strong supporters of KLRN who let him know how much you care about the station, the program, and the value of free speech. And with that, here is the commentary that did not air 2 weeks ago. San Antonio Congressman Lamar Smith surprised me last week when he indicated a disrespect for Fox News. True, his brief speech on the House floor was mainly a complaint about how the national liberal media are covering President Donald Trump, but its conclusion was more sweeping. Smith listed a number of early accomplishments by the president, including a spike in the Consumer Confidence Index, and said the liberal media, quote, won't print that or air it or post it. Actually, I Googled spike in Consumer Confidence Index, and the very first entry was a December 27th report from that pillar of the liberal media, the New York Times. It read, a measure of consumer confidence shot to its highest level in more than 15 years in December as Americans saw more strength ahead in business conditions, stock prices, and the job market following the election of Donald J. Trump as president. But don't sweat the details. Smith is right that the media have been tough on Trump. It's Smith's solution that intrigues. Quote, better to get your news directly from the president, he said. In fact, it might be the only way to get the unvarnished truth. Well, that's where he disrespected the fair and balanced cable channel, but Fox can fend for itself. Smith's proposal is quite innovative for America. We've never really tried getting all our news from our top elected official. It has been tried elsewhere, however. North Korea comes to mind. If Americans were to adopt this approach, here are some of the unvarnished truths we would have learned. That Trump's inauguration crowd was the biggest ever. That he gets far bigger crowds than Beyonce and Jay-Z. That Trump would have won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally. That Americans aren't interested in his tax returns. These are just some of the things we would have learned since his inauguration. During his campaign, we would learn that thousands and thousands of Arabs in New Jersey publicly celebrated as the World Trade Center towers collapsed on 9/11. We would learn Congressman Smith is right in thinking climate change is a hoax, but that Trump was only kidding when he tweeted that it was created by the Chinese to hurt America's competitiveness. And of course, we would learn, as Trump recently taught, that members of the media are the most dishonest human beings on earth. That, as Lamar Smith understands, is why media outlets have debunked every one of the above alternative facts. Smith also appears to be getting all his news from the White House regarding President Trump's temporary bans of immigrants and refugees from 7 Muslim nations. I appreciate President Trump's effort to protect innocent Americans from those who enter the United States to do us harm, he said in a press release that mirrored several White House talking points. Smith's young colleague, Will Hurd, the other Republican congressman from San Antonio, hasn't got the message. Hurd, a former CIA agent, told USA Today Trump's order has caused a rift with U.S. allies in the fight against terrorism. Let's look at a place like Iraq and the men and women of the U.S. Armed Services, he said. Who protects the perimeter of that base? It's Iraqis. He added that Iraqis are also fighting ISIS, and he has friends in Yemen fighting al-Qaeda alongside Yemenis. Pulling no punches, he said Trump's order has put a target on the back of almost 10,000 U.S. service members and diplomats and intelligence officers who are in those regions. Hurd also noted that some terrorist groups are touting Trump's order as proving that the United States is at war with Islam. When terrorist groups are excited about this executive order, that's not a good sign, Hurd said. It's a tool that terrorist groups get to use to recruit more followers. Would we have ever learned that from President Trump? And that's it for Texas Week. See you next time.